Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I just recorded 45 minutes for Call of Duty to crash on me to show you guys this video, so I'm a little upset, but it's okay. I gotta stay positive. Here's the message behind all that. So I'm updating you guys on my personal life and what's going on, but as well as I'm updating you guys on THX Spatial, because I know you guys have been looking for that information for some of you that are here at my channel. And I'm trying my best. So this video is to kind of update you guys on both, and then I'm gonna show you guys my settings that I'm dealing with now on top of everything else. So just to verify that my mic's working, because again, things have just been going awry right now. It happens. But everything's dialed in right now for the most part, except for Call of Duty in the audio section. So I will be explaining things about that, and as well as my personal life. So I will put a timestamp for you guys that want to fast forward to the THX Spatial that don't care about my personal life, which is kind of sad to say, but it is what it is. So I will leave a timestamp for you guys, and hopefully that'll help you out with the THX Spatial stuff. And also Warzone settings. And the reason why I'm putting in Warzone settings too is because that's my main content creating game. It's what I'm best at overall. But in terms of my stream, I'm not going to be doing just Call of Duty when I do get back to live streaming. So starting off with my personal life issues, I've been going through a lot, and the reason why I haven't streamed in a while for plenty of reasons is because I need to work on personal life. I brought in personal life into the stream of my Twitch stream, and it's kind of caused issues. And I realized that it's not a good thing to bring in personal life at a constant basis like I was, but I was doing it for a certain reason. And it turned into mental and personal health issues with me and other people involved, and that's not something you want to bring to a stream entirely. You want to be at your best self and use a stream as a distraction to make you happy and strong and confident. I always embody the idea of confidence and, you know, playing at your highest best and being your best self entirely. And I've been falling out of that loop for a while now because of the stress and drama I've been going through, and I'm personally working on fixing that. So that's why the break is really helping me with my mental health. And in the meantime, though, I am uploading videos to YouTube and doing gameplay videos. I am recording content when I do have the urge to play, but never fully trying to upload anything that I don't like personally. And even if it's a good game, I want my personality to be the best that it can be. And I'm going to be real. Like, there's going to be stress. Like, I'm going to be myself, you know. I'm not going to sit here and put on a facade. Like, I see a lot of streamers that do that. They put on a facade where they overly happy and overly pumped about life and everything. In reality, they're just, it's not like you're working as a waiter at a restaurant, you know. Like, you don't have to put on this facade. You could be you and be real. I think people attract to that more, and that's why, like, my average viewers is actually quite higher than a lot of people with thousands and thousands of followers, is because either they bot followed for that to make themselves more popular, or they just do have these people that come around during these moments when they're gaming and then they don't come back. So I always bring a welcoming support in no matter what with my stream, and that's why I feel like that I do quite well with being only 660 followers on Twitch. But I am growing at a nice rate. I've been streaming for a year, so, or over a little over a year, so that's pretty big for being a streamer at that rate, and especially doing it the way I'm doing it. So we're sticking to that standard, and we're gonna always stick to that standard. But just an update, like, I am going through a lot, and I could be streaming pretty soon here when I definitely feel the right need to. I've been taking the right steps and finding the confidence back in myself, and watching the streamers that influenced me to do this from the get-go to keep doing what they're doing and how they're doing it, and having that passion. And I do have that passion. I just lost that passion because of all the stress and drama. And it could just go with outside personal life too that ties in, but again, this is where I escape from that, and that's why, like, I put so much money and time and effort into all this, and I've been recognized for it in the past, and it's time to get recognized again. So that's why I'm trying to get back to that spot, which kind of entails to what I'm doing with Warzone and what my setups are and everything. I'm going to tie in everything to this, and hopefully you guys might want to try some of the Warzone loadouts that I'm going to be showing you, and also the settings that I'm going to be showing you. Hopefully COD don't crash on me again, because that was part of the problem with the first 45 minutes I recorded. But we're going to try our best, and I'm going to do this for you guys. And again, a like and subscribe is always appreciated, but not necessary. And again, following the Discord community and all that. If you guys ever need to follow the Discord community, or a link to like any kind of social media, please twitch.tv/x_Braven. Go to my about section, and the links are right there if they don't pop up. So The link should work, and if they don't work, you could always DM me personally, and I'll just send a link over to you, no problem. But they should all work fine. I'm updating everything as best as I can. Also, just made a new Twitter account, and a lot more positivity is coming out of the Twitter account because I've been using, again, like with the way I've been stressed and stuff, I've been more venting than fucking being positive and promoting and whatnot on there. So definitely with social media is working on a different approach. So new Twitter's up, and new Twitter is going to be nothing but just the best side of me more than anything. Obviously, I will have debates here and there, and I'll be saying things. And forgive me for the sunlight. I can see that I'm like fucking glowing bright because of the sun. It's a hot day today, so I'm also like just in a nasty feel right now. But I am actually going to work pretty soon, so that's why I want to get this video out. But I will leave a timestamp for that THX Spatial, like I said. Let's pull that up right now, and then I'm gonna walk you through THX Spatial settings, and then we're gonna try to pop up COD. But I'm gonna pop up COD like really quick, so hopefully it doesn't crash, because I know it's gonna mess with some settings after the update I did a scan and repair on it. So we're gonna pull up THX Spatial right now, and I'm gonna show you guys my settings on there. All right, so without further ado, okay, so let me just verify that we're on there. Yes, we are. Okay, so THX Spatial, again, quick update on what I'm going through personally with THX Spatial is I have only like 2 gripes with this thing, and it's obviously, actually let's just say 3 gripes. It's not that big a deal for 2 of them, but one of them is a really big deal. THX Spatial needs to be addressed. I'll say that's the biggest gripe. It needs to be addressed in the sense of THX Spatial is great, but Synapse, forgive me, Synapse needs to be addressed. Synapse needs to be worked on a lot better than it is. I feel like they're more like band-aiding it on each update, but at least we know right now with the Blackshark V2 wired, THX Spatial is great. And if you do have a Blackshark V2 Pro, this is where the other gripe comes in. If you have a Blackshark V2 Pro, your EQ does save to the dongle, and I know a lot of people had questions about that in the comment section of my YouTube videos about if THX Spatial could save to go to their PS5 and stuff, and I can almost guarantee it does, because I'm having an issue right now, and it's happening for a while, but it does come once in a while, which is weird. But THX Spatial does, I mean THX Spatial, I always say THX Spatial, Synapse Synapse doesn't discover my Blackshark V2 Pro, and it's very frustrating. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I don't know why, but it does not discover it. And then sometimes it does, especially when I'm charging it. Then I turn it on. If for some reason it goes, oh yeah, this is a Blackshark V2 Pro, and I can play with my audio settings. But when I've plugged it in to charge and it doesn't pop up in Razer Synapse, I would go try to play games still, and it would still have the same EQ sound that I had saved prior to. So that's good. So that's confirmed to me personally that my EQ settings are saved in there. But once I could be able to have it discovered in Synapse, I will be doing an update video, and I'll just stop everything and just be like, this is where I'm going to record the EQ settings for everything that I have, and then have a video out for that. So Blackshark V2 Pro consumers, just hold your horses there, but we'll get to that. And then as terms of like other games, playing other games and testing, we're going to be doing that throughout my stream. So that, again, this is another reason why you guys should come support the stream. And that's entirely because if I do go live and you see THX Spatial as the headline of the stream, then you could see that I'm like what I do to test a certain game that I'm playing for that day. So for example, let's just say Rainbow Six Siege. I decided to play Rainbow Six Siege for, you know, the stream, and I decided to just test my audio on the fly as I'm doing it. You'll be able to see how I'm testing it, what I'm calling out, what I'm going about. But in the end, it's just how I could test it, and then how you could possibly go about it testing yourself and see what you find comfortable. But obviously, again, me being a Warzone streamer, you're going to see a lot more Warzone content for the most part, because I'm just going to be kind of maining that game at my times where I want content. But I'm also going to be playing other games, bar none. I think as a content creator, I got to focus more as a content creator than more than just a Warzone streamer. Because again, I'm not a fan of Warzone specifically. I do find enjoyment in me doing good in Warzone and getting the content, so that's why I do it. But anyways, without further ado, please again support the socials, support the Twitch and the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe always is appreciated. It helps me so much. And hopefully more videos I'll be putting out soon with THX Spatial. Obviously, I know a lot of my fan base comes from that. But as being a Razer sponsored guy, you know, I'm just going to fully recommend Razer entirely. I still do. It's just the software does need a lot of work, a lot more work than they put to it. And obviously, my other gripes. Sorry, forgot to mention that. So, again, I'm tired, and I just recorded this already. So, like, my mind's like 100 miles an hour. I record this on the fly, so bear with me. The other gripes. So Razer Synapse obviously needs to be worked on. That's just clear as day. That's like the main gripe. Work on it. You know, Razer, I know you're better than this. Work on it. You know, you've been doing really good with your products coming out. You just need to work on your software. If you have issues ever with any product of your Razer Synapse or Synapse software and your peripherals in general, mouse, keyboard, headset, whatever, make sure you go Google Razer firmware, and then it'll give you a list of your products that there are a list you could click on. You can click on specifically your mouse, Razer Basilisk. You could check and see if the firmware is up to date, and the firmware, if it's up to date, will either fix the problem or there's more problems with that and it hasn't been up to date in the firmware yet. So firmware is very important, and from testing I can tell you right now, this is where another gripe comes in. I have a Razer Huntsman Mini keyboard, and I did the firmware update just recently on that. It needed it. It was locking my taskbar, and that was a known issue apparently, and that's what I was having for the longest time. I had no idea what it was, and it was the keyboard. Well, turns out now the keyboard, after the firmware update, fixed that issue, but it also brought another issue, which is I would literally press a key and it would just spam a bunch of keys. And that's just something with like the registering of keys or whatever, where it just like glitches out and it just starts typing shit. And even my I key, I know when I press I on my keyboard on the Huntsman Mini, it will not even register an I key. It's just a defective product, and that happens with a big company, and this is why I don't want people to fret on Razer, because Razer is still a great company, bar none, and their products are amazing. And I know this is just probably one of the bad batches of keyboards. Luckily, in my scenario, I have a Razer company, not company, but like, you know, main office, front building, whatever you want to call it, warehouse, not too far from me. I could go visit, bring the box, bring the keyboard in there, and just be like, I have an issue and I just want to replace it, you know. And so hopefully that would be enough to them just to swap it. Again, being a Razer sponsored guy, I'm sure they'll understand, like, hey, I'm just trying to make this so that way I could update videos on it and give you guys opinions on it. So it's a good keyboard. It's always had this issue, but now it's just starting to have this issue really bad, and it's under the warranty still, so it shouldn't be a problem. But again, that's why I have a backup. I have the Black Widow V2 Tournament Edition, and it's a great keyboard, and it works wonders, and I love it. So honestly, like, it's probably gonna main for a while, and I might even get the Black Widow V3 when it comes out. But again, I'll have the Huntsman Mini reversed or whatever, replaced, and from there we should be good. So those are my 3 gripes. So other than that, everything else has been great. And I love my products. I love my mouse mats, my mic. Everything's great. I even have the Razer Wolverine V2, which is the Xbox Series X controller that I use for certain games like Madden, NFL, which I'm doing a series on. And then I also have it for Skater XL, which I'll be doing a series soon if you guys are skateboarding fans just like me. So keep an eye out for those videos. I got a bunch that I'm working on. Other than that, let's get to Synapse. Okay, I know I've talked a lot about everything else outside, but love my Razer gear, and I definitely recommend them wholeheartedly, and it's the reason why I stay sponsored with them and don't move on from them. So definitely recommend them entirely, and great company. They're doing really good things, top tier things. So keep an eye out. Back to the sound though, for the Black Shark V2 wired, again, because I can pull this up on Synapse every single time, which is great. Audio is really good still. So the mixer, obviously sound 100%, turn volume on, and then this sound properties is just, it says right here, select the default output device that THX Spatial will fall back to when device is not connected. So it just pretty much will change your sound settings down here to something so you still have audio even if that's not plugged in. So if I unplug this headset, it'll go switch right over to whatever audio is going to be, in the sense of this will be Realtek audio, but again, that's pretty much just my motherboard's audio. No big deal, right? It's not important. It doesn't matter if anything's set there at all. Just know that if you don't have audio after you unplug your headset or whatever, then you just switch it over. Simple as that. THX Spatial right here, this is what triggers your THX Spatial. Make sure every time you start this up, I don't know if they fixed this bug, I pretty much feel like they did, but you just do it just in case. It's just a habit, and it's a good habit to have just in case something happens again. Just click it off, click it back on, maybe do it twice, even 3 times, just to see if you hear a click in your audio when you turn on your PC or whatever, just when you plug it in, just to make sure the THX Spatial is working on your PC. I would just recommend doing that. Obviously, the profile's saved to the sound card, so you're pretty much good regardless if you're playing on a console. But THX Spatial for your software version, just make sure you click it, make sure it's off and on real quick just to trigger it on. Custom mode, leave it to manual. I know it sets to auto quite often, But I haven't, and usually mine saves it manual, so that's good. I think it's just the sound card saving it, but it's set its manual if you don't have it at manual, and then put everything at custom. The reason why I say everything at custom is because it saves your custom EQ that you make, and it will utilize the EQ. So that's very important. And then also right here, custom mode, you want to set your parameters. Like this is more important for me for hearing directional audio exactly where I feel like it's important. So that's why it's set in exactly this way. But again, you know, you could have it however you feel more comfortable with it. But I just personally think this just gives me the more clarity of audio's over here, audio's over here, audio's over here, audio's up behind me. You know what I mean? So that's the best way I could dictate how the audio works. And this is just my personal setup, and you can listen to it and see if you like it. If you don't, it's fine. But again, custom mode, because it utilizes the EQ as well with this, trust me. I know THX competitive mode has been a big thing on people, and again, I'm with you on this situation. I feel like this is just software related, but some games it makes it sound tinny, and then you're in Discord doesn't combine with it well, and then you got this weird like echoey sound like you're in a bathroom or something. And I get it, it's kind of annoying when you're playing with people, but if you're playing by yourself, you probably get a benefit from that kind of audio boundary that it pushes out. It's just expanding it out, that's all it is. So for games like Battlefield 5, for example, probably don't need it because the audio is really clear with the EQ that I have set, at least for me. But games like Modern Warfare and stuff, if it still gives you that tinny sound in game, then you might want to just switch it over to custom mode. But right now, for me, just personal reasons, I'd rather just have the audio be as in tune with the game itself. I just leave everything custom, and it just simplifies it. So custom mode, my EQ is being set and used, bar none. But again, THX competitive, keep an eye on it. Updates come with THX Spatial and Synapse, so keep an eye on it. When an update comes to Razer software, or Razer Synapse software, just test it. You know, test it, see if it's working better, if it sounds better. Maybe the tinniness goes away. Who knows? I know people are reporting it and they are working on it, but again, it's just time consuming. You know, but for custom mode, you're not going to be disappointed. It's really great audio, nonetheless. Enhancements. I do have enhancements changed a little bit, and the reason why I have enhancements changed a little bit is because, again, when Call of Duty updates, especially because of the Profiles COD, obviously I gotta update Synapse as well and match it the best, because audio does get a little different. And the one thing that I can tell you for sure for the people that play Warzone is that studio reference, which I'll show you in a minute, but studio reference inside COD is the reason why I put this up to a little higher on certain things and lowered certain things. So obviously bass boost 100 for Call of Duty always. Other games, I know that you don't really need it up at 100. You probably drop it down to 90 or 80, but bass boost is definitely necessary for footstep audio. If you want to sound more in tune with real life, you'll probably drop the bass down a little bit, so it's not like a thunderous sound at long distances. But this is for the best competitive advantage, bar none. I always put bass boost at 100 for the most part in every game I play, minus like a few games where I drop it to like 90. That's about it. But my EQ now for Call of Duty Warzone specifically, which I also use this for Cold War on this headset, so it sounds pretty good for both. I personally know, I know you could like tweak this a little bit for Cold War, just a little bit, not by much. It's pretty similar in audio because they're both really, really bad audio in game. So just work with me. I have 8, 3, 4, 7, 1, 0, 3, 5, 3, and 6. So again, baseline start. Use this as a baseline start for you. Adjust as you go and you see fit for what you want for your audio. But in my opinion, this is a competitive edge setup. And even if audio doesn't sound exactly in tune with everything, in terms of like reality of sounds, it's more just to boost what's important and to get that, what do you call it? Important audio positioning. So that way you can hear people in certain spots moving up certain stairs at a certain angle. You could tell that person's jumping to the corner behind a wall when he's up the staircase of a building. You know, stuff like that. It's supposed to clarify as best as you can for all this. Obviously, sound normalization, voice clarity, you don't even touch that. Just turn it off. It's fine. When you go to mic, this is where you can start playing with your mic specifically. You guys are hearing me on the Siren Mini, but when you guys are using this mic, I have this personally set just what I think is comfortable, but I'm not going to go through my EQ on this because this is just for what I was when I was using the headset, and it has nothing to do with you. I always say start at a baseline and just listen to the way you talk, and then go from there. But you do want volume normalization up all the way. That gives you the best audio sounding out of your mic, in terms of your headset mic. And then mic monitoring is just to hear yourself talk over the game audio in game. So like when I'm talking through my mic right now, I could hear myself talking in my headset. So I'm not sounding like, you know, I'm overly pushing my voice out for you guys to hear me, when in reality you guys can hear me just fine. It's just because of the game audio so loud and just overtakes what you're hearing yourself. So that's why mic monitoring is very, very important. But yeah, you want volume normalization all the way up, everything else off. And then your mic EQ, again, like I said, it's all personal preference, but in terms of your voice, you just want to lower what your voice is in terms of, like, if you have a higher pitched voice, you want to lower your highs and bring up the lows. If you have a lower pitched voice, you want to bring up your lows, lower the highs. But again, you want to find like a base ground for everything. If you have like a more, like, I guess, stable tone of voice, and obviously raise it up a little bit just so it emphasizes your voice a little more. But I found this to be the most successful, and if you guys want examples of that, of how it sounds with my headset mic, go back to my older videos and let me know if you guys think it sounds good. If you think it could be adjusted a little bit, maybe throw your guys' inputs on what you guys would do with the mic settings yourselves. But you can put that in the comment section just to help others. Again, this video is meant to just help everybody else come into THX Spatial that are asking questions, and then be able to adjust themselves, because I know that's like the biggest thing about the software, is everyone's looking for THX Spatial information. But again, this is all about Razer. I'll be doing Razer updates and everything, and showing you guys everything how I do with that. So but anyways, that in itself is Razer Synapse settings for COD Warzone. This is the only reason I'm doing COD Warzone specifically today, again, is because it's specifically what my main game is. So for those that are Warzone players, or just want a baseline for Call of Duty in general, which I'm not a fan of Call of Duty, but as a base general spot for Call of Duty, this will probably be your best bet. So we will get other videos up too, though. So, and those other videos I'll be testing for other games. I'm gonna pull up Call of Duty right now, and hopefully this doesn't crash on me this time, because again, it had an update, and when it had the update just now, when I was recording, COD crashed on me mid-video, so that's why it pissed me off, and I decided to restart. But I'm gonna try to, again, this has always been an issue with Call of Duty. I've always had this issue, bar none, period, and it's just sad. It's sad that this happened. See, you can hear right here, it appears that Call of Duty did not quit properly last time. Yeah, it's because you crashed on me. So we're not going to optimize anything with Call of Duty. We're just going to go in and we're going to set it up as best as we can, or not set it up, but we're going to explain everything as best we can of my setup. So, and I'm going to walk you guys through everything, because everyone, if you watched me in the past, if you watch my old videos, you'll see what kind of setups I was using, the reason why I built them around this for the next upcoming streaming that I'll be doing of Warzone. So, as you can hear too, audio is a lot lower for COD right now. And it's just, I don't know what's going on with that. It's another Synapse thing that, like, it doesn't allow Synapse to take over. So it's very, very, very weird. Trust me, it's very, very weird. So let's switch over right now. Unless I already switched over, I can't tell, but let me just verify. No, did it not switch over? It did switch over. Okay, that was weird. Anyways, I hate that, trust me. So I personally went up to mouse sensitivity 7. I have a 1600 DPI because I'm all wrist, and I like to be like, if I feel like I'm moving just a little bit, I want it to feel like it's moving just a little bit. You know what I mean? So obviously I'm still testing this. I might even lower it just a little bit just to be a little more fine-tuned. But right now I'm sitting at 7 testing that. But again, ADS speed's relative. I'm not going to walk you through all this stuff entirely, but just the only things I will point out is my key bindings exactly for how I like lay down and stuff with the mouse and everything. So I know a lot of people play normally with spacebar jump and all that. I'm pretty much the same way. Everything's pretty much identical to that. Q is my tactical equipment. You know, all this stuff is no big deal, but it's what my movement is what the big deal is. So I use crouch behavior hold, and the reason why I use hold is because I use my mouse 4 button, which is the top one, I believe. Mouse 4, mouse 5, or I think it's mouse 5, mouse 4. I could be wrong, but one of the first top button of your mouse is going to be holding. So that way, if I'm holding behind a wall, I could peek, let go, and it'll just like crouch up and down, or you can spam it while you're shooting, and it does help. It's a little awkward when you're using your thumb, but it's something you got to get used to, but I found it to be very successful. And then toggle for prone is because that's the back button on my mouse, and that makes you be able to just drop real quick when you need to for a drop shot, even though I don't do drop shotting, but sometimes it does help in a scenario when I'm just like in a hot moment. And then obviously sprint, automatic tac sprint is very important too. So that's the only things I wanted to point it out inside the key bindings. Other than that, I'm not going to go through any more than that. I mean, again, there's videos of people with best optimizations of Call of Duty, and if you're more comfortable pressing keys to do your crouch and prone, it's up to you, but I just found it best that my mouse does pretty much everything. And then obviously with this mouse specifically, it has a DPI clutch paddle, which I macroed to G, which is my grenades. So when I'm using a grenade, I could just hold that, and then I could just like charge it up, throw it, you know, like, and just aim at the same time as I'm throwing it. So audio. Okay, so audio obviously very, very big. Very, very big for COD. Oh, and before we get to audio, just make sure every time you start up Call of Duty, I don't know if you have the same issue as I do, but every time you start up Call of Duty, verify, you know, everything is up to par in your graphics, because sometimes things switch or resolution drops to like the bare minimum. Happens to me all the time. Call of Duty is just terrible with that, so just keep an eye on that. Audio mix. The reason why I have a studio reference is because I believe this is the best audio of sound balancing throughout, bar none. I just feel like clarity wise, it's like volume's a little lower obviously, but that's why you put the audio inside of Synapse up for EQ. You balance it out for what's more important. So bass volume is going to be up really high, and studio reference pronounces bass so good. But the thing is, it's still Call of Duty, which is bad audio. So this is probably the best clarity wise in terms of like positional audio it's going to be. It's not going to be the loudest, but it's going to be the best clarity wise. If you're not playing with music, especially because if you put music on in the background while you're playing, this will be clouded a little bit. You might want to go to dynamic home theater, and then music kind of will, you know, won't be fluctuating as bad if you balance the music just at the right time. But studio reference, if you're at the most competitive edge possible and you want the best audio clarity wise overall, studio reference 100% through testing many times, will recommend over what any COD streamer will ever say. If you're trying to play without music and you're fucking playing at the highest, you know, competitive edge you want, studio reference is the way to go. Dynamic home theater is close to it, but it muddles the sounds a little bit. But again, if you're playing with music, it's kind of a good alternative to swap over. It's still much clearer than everything else besides studio reference. So home theater, midnight mode, and boost, just stay away from. Not worth it. Not worth the time of day. Boost high is good for you know, if you're having like the low audio issue with the Razer headsets. I would recommend boost high, but I would drop it down to like 60 I would think would be the best, and that's because it takes away a little bit of that full-on muddiness, and it'll give you pretty clear audio. It's not the best, but it's pretty clear, but it takes away a lot of the bass, and the bass just sounds not that good. So that's why bass boost all the way up on EQ settings and Synapse will definitely help with that. But then also boost low. I know a lot of people like boost low. I also leave this around like 80 or so, but again, it just sounds like the bass of the audio, the lows of the audio are just so muddled. Like, you'll hear them better, don't get me wrong, but it'll sound like a footstep is like stomping by you, but you won't be able to tell if it's directional or not. You know, you're just like, I can hear a loud ass fucking footstep. So that's why I stay away from boost low for the most part. Boost high is like my last resort if I just want a game and I'm getting frustrated that the audio is not clicking over. So what I mean by that is if the COD's audio is not raising, it's just staying low, then I go and switch it around. So but most of the time when I do get it working, studio reference is the way to go, bar none. And then obviously master volume 100 for that, effects volume 100, and dialogue volume, when important audio is needed, drop this down, because this, you just need to be able to hear that, like, oh, gas was coming in or enemy flying in the air, but you don't need to hear it to where like you're about to engage somebody's flying in, and then you don't hear that guy running around the corner because the guy was screaming in your ear, enemy flying in the air. You don't want that. So this is going to help you like just be able to hear the announcement of that guy coming in, but at the same time, you can play with this. It could be like 20 to 30. I just threw it on a random 23, 25. It doesn't matter. It's just as long as I can hear just enough to where I'm like, okay, there's a guy flying in the air, and his teammate's probably like the one I'm engaging right now, and I need to be able to hear exactly where he's at. So this best overall. Music volume, just turn the music volume down. Music sucks, in my opinion. So voice chat, again, enabled, obviously. Default communication device. This is where it gets tricky for people with headsets. So I know default system device works with people, and then I know default communication device works with people. I've always told people to go to default communication device for in-game chat audio, but again, since I did this whole Synapse fresh reinstall to get everything dialed in perfectly, I haven't been able to test my headset, and right now I'm having an issue where in-game audio of people talking is not registering. So that's something you normally play with. Normally, if you're having an issue where the audio is low, you could just go to default system device and then click over back to communications device, and it will work. Or vice versa. You could go to, you know, default communication device and then default system device, and then default system device will work. And the way I tell you about that is because I go over here to sounds. And the reason why I say sometimes it'll work and sometimes not is because it depends what's in here ready to go and whatnot. And it's very weird because in your sound properties, you want to be able to have your microphone as the only one enabled and then everything else disabled. So even this should be disabled. But you want everything to be disabled and only have one recording, which your recording is your voice. So personally, if you're using the V2's wired, you want this enabled as the default device instead of the Siren Mini. And then obviously playback device, again, you don't want any of this enabled except for the USB sound card as ready, your Realtek digital output, which is your HD audio of your motherboard, as ready, and then obviously, again, this is supposed to be disabled, but your THX Spatial audio as your default device. So that should be how it works. That's where you get your audio from, bar none. No other better way to set it up. And then from there, you should have default communications, default system. It should trigger it over. But again, like I said, I gotta play with my setup a little more and make sure it's dialed in, because it's not like, I obviously can't hear people in game, and right now you can hear the audio is very, very low, which means that the THX Spatial is being overcome by Call of Duty. And so that's what we gotta fix, but we'll fix it. And I know it happens in other games too. So other games just have a real nitpicky thing with Synapse, which Synapse got to work on. So another reason why I say it's a gripe. Voice chat volume, again, not very important. Microphone volume, not very important. It's just personal preference on what you think. People can hear you better with voice chat volume, or if you don't want people's volumes to overtake, like them talking, overtake the audio of the game, then you lower that down. And then microphone volume, so on and so forth. But to end this video, hopefully COD doesn't crash on me, because this happened last time. This is where it crashed on me. So I'm gonna try to run through this quick. I have the classes listed, but just ignore the names of the classes because I did not get to change them. But I created all the classes ready to go as my top tier classes and what I use them for. So I think my MAC 10 and Car 98 class is my all-around go-to sweaty class. So the soft target designator, extended damage range, reinforced heavy, extended damage range, bullet velocity as well. Doesn't lessen the recoil. Agency suppressor for the damage range as well. I know ADS speed is important to a lot of people, but I just feel like the ADS speed is just fine on this gun, so I don't care about it. Personally, that's my opinion. I know some people would rather have snappier ADS speed, but just this is my comfort. Field agent grip for the vertical and horizontal recoil control. So this thing's a laser. This thing literally doesn't feel like it's bouncing that much at all. It's great, and it puts out a lot of rounds at a short amount of time. Fast fire rate, really good. And then the 53 round drum mag is because I normally like the fast reload times, but in the Cold War guns, fast mags does not work well. And it doesn't really make a big difference, and you lose more mobility over it because of it. So that's why I go with the 53 round drum mag. It's just better for mobility. Not much of a difference, but you do need extra ammo. So Car 98, I'm not going to go through every Car 98 build that I have, but this will be the main one. Precision comb for the aiming stability, tack laser for the aiming stability, sniper scope, because again, sniper scope. I don't like using the variable zoom. It makes like a bulgy look to it, and I don't really care for the extension of the scope. I just want to be able to pinpoint, aim, and shoot. Very simple. The Sin Guard custom, that's the best damage range and bullet velocity, and same thing with monolithic suppressors. So very straightforward. Perks, pretty much running in this on all classes. Quick fix is because in those hot situations where you run out of armor plate to kill somebody and finish them off, you'll get your health back right away. Definitely is very necessary in certain gunfights when you need as much health as possible, where you don't get one tapped by a bullet. I just think that's more important overall than everything. EOD is another option too you could use. I personally would rather use quick fix. I feel like EOD is only in those rare occasions that somebody's using a grenade and catches you at the right spot. Doesn't happen to me as much, so it's good. And then overkill and amped. Amped is just a swapping. Again, you want to kind of swap on the fly faster to your other weapon if you need to. Throwing knife, swap it out for thermites, up to you. Heartbeat sensor, again, I run heartbeat sensor for mainly majority of the games I play, and I know a lot of people for sweaty classes will run like stun grenades and then use like a backup resupply class or something like that, which I do have a class made for that, so we'll get to that later, but yeah, your choice. The second class is a Jack 12. It's got the 5 milliwatt laser for the sprint to fire time, same thing with stipple grip. ADS speed's a little bit better too with it. 20 round drum mags for mobility, and then the Torrent and the Marauder, both for extending the damage range. I feel like this is the best shotgun. I guess Street Sweeper and the Gallo are both really good, but their just ranges are terrible, and the reload times are terrible. This is just kind of the all-around best shotgun to use right now. There's really no argument. Even J God and True Game Data both agree with this, and I know they're like the main quote-unquote Call of Duty stats guys, so take what you will, but they rate this the best, period. And then obviously Car 98's the same build, same perks, everything. So number 3, I'm an old school Warzone guy at heart, and I feel like I want to go back to that roots because, again, my personal life, I want to bring myself happiness again. I always found myself happiness with the MP5 and HDR, but this is the Cold War version. So this is the Cold War MP5 and the ZRG. At the time, HDR was the fastest bullet velocity, and so now it is the ZRG for the Cold War guns. Cold War MP5 has the fastest fire rate for the most part in terms of the both between the Modern Warfare and Cold War MP5. But again, I extend the damage range, field agent grip for the vertical and horizontal recoil control, reinforced heavy again for the damage range and bullet velocity buff to it, and doesn't lessen the recoil. So that's just to help the recoil as much as possible. This thing kicks like a mule. Agency suppressor, again, it's for vertical recoil control, helps with that as well. Bullet velocity, effective damage range. Again, if you're not worried about ADS speed like I'm not with these SMGs, then you should be good. The 50 round fast mags, you could probably swap it over for the Stanig, but again, you get same thing, lower ADS speed, but you'll probably get a little bit less ADS speed. Actually, you do get more less ADS speed than this one, so this has more control. But I personally just rather have the look of it. It really doesn't make a big difference. Again, you might get a little bit faster reload time. With the way it burns ammo, it probably does help. So I recommend just keeping the Salvo 50 round fast mags. And that's pretty much my MP5. I like the iron sights on it. It's one of my favorite guns of all time. ZRG, again, this is just personal. I'm kind of testing a lot with this gun, and there's a lot you can work with it, but the bullet velocity on this thing is insane already, so no need to really do much here. I do use the Royal and Cross 4 times because I do want the ADS speed a little bit better, and I do like the 4 times scope on these Cold War snipers, so that's why I have that on. It does help with the ADS speed too, and then the sound moderator does help with ADS speed, but still gives you bullet velocity boost to it as well, and keeps you off the radar. Really nice to have. Combat Recon gives you the fastest bullet velocity, and then you got the 5-round mag for obvious reasons. And then SASR Jungle Grip, I believe, gives you the best ADS speed, but people are saying Airborne Elastic Wrap can as well. But there's a lot of testing that hasn't been fully confirmed yet of what gives you the best ADS speed. But I just feel like the SASR Jungle Grip does, and there's the least amount of negatives with it, so I believe that's just the best safe bet to go. But again, more testing with that in the future. And obviously number 4, this is more of just a Modern Warfare like kind of go-to class in the sense of like if I'm running, you know, any game mode specifically, but like it's just the safe bet for the most part. It's my favorite sniper in the game right now. It's the SPR, and the SPR's got the Sol Zero scope on it, the TAC laser, the barrel, the SPR 26-inch barrel, monolithic suppressor, and the Norma Max gives you the best bullet velocity. Headshot machine, probably gonna hit headshots a lot easier, and it's easier to control with the aiming stability wise than the Kar 98. But the flinch is just a little worse, so that's the one thing you combat a little bit, but it's still mobility wise the same, and it just feels like the next, you know, I'm pretty sure when the Kar 98 gets nerfed, this is probably going to be the go-to sniper, if not the Swiss. And I'm not a fan of the Swiss. I don't think it's as good as everyone says it is. I feel like this is better, so that's why you won't see the Swiss in my loadouts. And then the Ram 7, everyone's been loving this Ram 7 class that I've built. I've even seen J God and True Game Data, you know, doing the same thing. They've always recommended this build even before I even seen any of their videos. But I've always recommended, because I love the iron sights on this. I know people are really on gripe with that, but I recommend the Commando foregrip 50 round mags, TAC laser, FSS Ranger, and monolithic suppressor. It's supposed to compete with the AMAX in damage. But it has like the perfect recoil bounce. Like it almost feels like it's a laser. It just beams people, especially in close quarters. It definitely helps. But again, the ADS speed is just a little bit slower. And if you really do need a optic on it, I would probably just get rid of the FSS Ranger and throw on an optic, because the Commando foregrip is going to really help with that horizontal bounce that it has. It's very awkward if you really want an optic. But personally, you get used to the iron sights, you'll be much better off, trust me. And then the next class, this is more of an experiment class that I've been trying, but again, the AMAX is still kind of competitive, but I do have my AMAX set to be kind of like a close, medium, and long range engaging AMAX entirely. I do have the Commando foregrip on it, but I might even just remove that to throw on something else. But for right now, the Commando foregrip is there just in case, you know, that horizontal bounce might get in the way a little bit, which it really doesn't. You probably could be better off with throwing a rear grip on it or a optic on it. But monolithic suppressor, Zodiac barrel for the damage range output, TAC laser for fast ADS speed and aiming stability, 45 round mags, very important to get the extra bit of ammunition. And again, Commando foregrip, that's what I'm using right now. So you might, like I said, you might want to be able to replace that with something with like a rear grip or an optic on it. And the sniper, the SPR, the reason why I'm testing this out is because it's more of like a resurgence build. This is the quick scoping SPR class. And if you don't know, try it, because it's very, very good in Resurgence. Close quarters engagements to medium range, because obviously it's not really much long range engagements in Resurgence. This is amazing, and it does do wonders. You put the Dragoon barrel, still gives you bullet velocity, as you can see here. It's insane. Might even be broken right now, so keep an eye on it, but I've been testing it, and it does feel nice. It just, I don't know how fast the bullet velocity is. Still feels like it could be a little slower, but through testing, I'm sure J God will like to look into it. Maybe I'll talk to him about it, send a comment, see if he looks into it. Tac laser for ADS speed, and then this one's very important because I know there's the blitz, and I've always recommended the blitz in the past, but again, you lose aiming stability and recoil control with this, but this one you get the aiming stability even better, and you get ADS speed still. So I recommend entirely using the top stock. It's called the SP TAC 208. Definitely use that, because aiming stability with this gun is why it flourishes so well. You can really focus that aim on people and snipe them. Solo Zero, again, once again, the same sniper scope and normal mags, again, for the fastest bullet velocity possible. This gun's very nice for quick scoping in Resurgence and even long range engagements. It just does everything well. Try it. Now, I know, ignore this case, or I call it the case Swiss. Ignore the Swiss class, because the Swiss class is literally just, I'm going to be putting a Swiss class here for testing with the Street Sweeper, and that'll be a Resurgence class that I'm testing. But this, I don't have a Swiss class for you guys to try out. I'm not a fan of the Swiss, but I will be testing it furthermore once I get the attachments fully unlocked. That's how much I hate it. When I did use somebody's, I picked it up, I just didn't like it. It just feels wonky, feels terrible. But again, it might be like an aim assist controller player's dream. It might be really good for them. I don't know, but personally, I think the Kar98 still reigns, and SPR's right there too, even above that. So, but this is the gun I want you guys to check out. So this is my Street Sweeper class. This is I know it's broken right now for the most part in close quarters. You can wipe teams pretty easily, but again, the reload time's terrible. You got to really time reload timing up, especially if people are pushing you. This is mainly a Resurgence close quarters build, unless you're using like an AMAX. Again, I'm a sniper guy, so I don't use like assault rifles as primaries. I use my sniper as a primary. But this is I have a task force barrel on it for extending that damage range. Agency choke to again extend that damage range that has a really big problem with. Even with these two on, doesn't help much. And then the soft target designator, same thing, doesn't really help much, but it's for that reason to help with the damage range. It's one of the most biggest gripes of this gun, especially when you're trying to play sweaty and Resurgence. You need as much help as you can, and I feel like all three of these together will help. Then I have the 18 round mag for the most ammunition, definitely need that. And then the SAS combat stock for the firing movement speed, because again, if you're going to side strafe against people that are, you know, engaging you, it'll help a little bit boost that speed up, so that way you could like kind of bounce around and, you know, side strafe while you're shooting. Does definitely help with taking less damage, and yeah, it's pretty broken. But yeah, I just ignore the sniper class, like I said, because I'm not a fan of the Swiss. I probably will put that back to a Kar98 or SPR personally, but I'm just doing it because I might be testing Swiss as a sniper guy, testing the Swiss out more and finding something more comfortable, maybe. Here I got another class, more of an experiment class, but people have been talking really good about it. It's the PPSH. I have the KGB target designator on it with the task force barrel and the GRU suppressor. The Spetsnaz grip, I believe, yeah, is the vertical and horizontal recoil control. I believe that's one of its most important things that it needs. I have the 71 round drum mag just because I feel like this will be the gun to use in like quads and trios and stuff to be able to have like multiple chances to attack multiple enemies. I know it spits out ammo pretty fast, but it's still pretty good. And then I have the KGB target designator for effective damage range and hipfire accuracy. So the hipfire accuracy definitely comes in handy with this gun. And then obviously, again, extending the damage range with these two. Bar none, I feel like this gun is pretty competitive, but it's nothing special. Definitely could have a better SMG out there. So that's why it's just more of like a fucking high drum mag round, fucking multiple target option. And then Kar98, again, we already know the Kar98. And then obviously the last one, this is more of like a safe solo game gun. And I know a lot of people have been like, it's very tricky with this gun because a lot of people found comfort in certain attachments, but I feel like if you want just the simplistic overall build for this gun, it's very much this right here. I don't think there's very much more to it than, obviously you could probably swap out the stock for like sleight of hand for a little bit faster reload time, but if you're running solos and duos, this is going to be very, very comfortable. And I feel like after that it's kind of a gamble, but that's what the Kar98's for its secondaries, to be the quick scoping, you know. But I got the VLK 200mm OSA barrel. I don't think there's any other option than that barrel. Commando foregrip for the horizontal bounce, tac laser for the aiming stability, and then the Strelok. The Strelok gives you recoil control, aiming stability, and aim walking steadiness. You will lose mobility with this thing, but again, it's right when you push an enemy You want to be able to just have that thing shoot as much of a laser as possible, because that thing has a fast TTK. Everyone says it's like the highest TTK, but I just don't believe it. Again, with the 30 round mags, I do have moments where, and this is where I just think Call of Duty is broken, is where I think the damage output doesn't put the numbers as what people have been registering, and I feel like it could be, you know, a laser at one point, and then for some reason it's just not the next point. But in overall, this gun is still really, really viable, really, really good, and this is the recommended build, I would say, for you getting in solo engagements and running around as a solo player. And then obviously the sniper. Now resupply and ghost, I have two separate ones because I have an experiment I want to do with the ghost class. That's why I kind of leave the, I've been experimenting with this SPR, and that's the reason why it's built like this. Actually, I want to make sure that yeah, it is the SP tag. Okay, I just want to make sure that stock was correct. But I've been experimenting with these two classes, and the reason why is because this is my resupply option if I want to play aggressive. I feel like I'm getting a high kill game, and I'm not worried about ghost, and I just want to push engagements. Then obviously the Kar 98 is the safest bet for that. And then obviously if I want to be comfortable with my secondary, I feel like the Diamatti, just the solo Diamatti, is very, very competitive, and if you're accurate with it, it lasers, especially if you hit headshots, it lasers. So I've actually been considering doing a sniper pistol challenge, and then obviously I have a Semtex here for aggressive playthrough action, just throwing Semtexes at buildings and stuff to break shields and stuff as I can push in. And then restock is to resupply both Semtex and stun grenades, and to just, you know, stun people, because obviously stuns are broken as all hell. And that's pretty much the comfort spot there. But then obviously you guys know the SPR build. It's pretty much the same build, but with a different blueprint for the Diamatti. And then obviously throwing knife and heartbeat sensor with ghost. So this is like more of the hitting class ghost, and I could, like, you know, kind of sit back and try to test out that sniper a little bit more. So that's why that's the option too. So when I swap over between the two. But anyways, that's pretty much it. And this is kind of like my step up and going back into like my roots, but at the same time falling back a little bit into what is now. And obviously what is now is completely broken, and this is where I'm going to be explaining this right now. So let me get out of Call of Duty real quick and then finish this video off. But pretty much my message to you guys is I'm going to be, you know, live streaming a lot of THX Spatial testing, and also just kind of like reviewing products and stuff. So you guys ever have questions, you could come into the stream and do that. But in reality, it's like sometimes I'll be so focused on the game, don't be hurt or anything if I don't reply, or you could just kind of comment back, be like, hey, guess what, you know, like I asked a question, I just was you didn't see it, you know, be kind and courteous about it, and then I'll definitely try to help you when I'm like in the lobby or whatever, and I could answer questions. But again, and it depends on any game too, any game I'm playing, even if I'm like just testing in a bot lobby or something on Siege, and I'm walking through what I would do and stuff, then you guys can ask questions and I will answer them. But again, just stay focused, stay confident, and again, be yourselves. Again, I want everyone to be themselves that come to my stream. That's why I attract a lot of people that come into my stream, is because they always see that it's just me, you know, like, and I like the raging moments that I do. Like I'm not gonna lie, like it feels good to let it out, but I'm not gonna be that guy that rages every time and just stressed out about the whole stream, because I'm a mess with the COD. I'm just a mess that it's going, you know, completely all fucked up, and COD's having issues. I'm not going to be that guy anymore. I'm going to be a more positive approach to it, and I'm hoping that you guys understand and you know, come and support. And obviously we're all in this together. Like I said, I have a plan to bring like a Discord community together that, you know, specifically everyone's using THX Spatial, and find out settings and test settings and send them settings out so everyone can read it and everyone can test their own thing out and see what the best is. And I definitely do want to do that, because again, people have been telling me about Windows Sonic with it instead of using THX Spatial, which is very interesting. Usually software like that is just like loud audio, but it's not like to actually pinpoint stuff. But again, you never know. I haven't been able to test enough of it to say that's wrong, you know, and it could be right, it could be better, you know, we just don't know. But that's the fun in all this. The fun in all this is that we're all together as fans of the Razer products that we have, and obviously fans of content creating and whatnot, and gaming. So we're all in it together. And honestly, I just want to thank everybody that has supported me along the way, and understand that I'm pushing this out as best as I can and trying to be as most confident as I can about all this. And that is why I'm here right now making this video. So again, for my personal updated reasons, I still won't be streaming for a little while. It could be coming back really soon. It could be taking a little while, depending on how I'm feeling when I go back into games. But in the end, I'm setting things up to where everyone can come in and support the stream and support, each other and what the growth is. And you know, like I said, I have a lot of plans in mind for everybody, and I want to be able to build this community up awesomely and have like a very interactive community, that much more than what it is now. We're all kind of in a dark spot in this day and age, and you know, especially how life is outside, it is very dark. It's very dark and very confusing how life's going to go, but in the end, it's all about rising above it and doing the best that you can. So be that person, rise above it, do the best that you can, and you know, supporting one another is always recommended and helpful. I know the message is supposed to be positive, and I'm not in the best mental state to be positive, but I'm doing the best I can for you guys and also for my own well-being. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Again, a like and subscribe and all of that is very much appreciated, but not recommended. You know, twitch.tv/x_braven. Best place to find me, best place where my growth is going, and support me there. And again, you might catch me live doing a THX Spatial testing. You might catch me live doing some high gameplay of Warzone, or maybe just having some fun on an MMO, playing some Skater XL, some skateboarding games, or football. You never know. Whatever we're doing the best we can. And if you guys are looking for Black Shark V2 Pro information, keep an eye out, because I will be trying to further test that and make sure that's up to date as well with Razer Synapse. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Thank you so much for listening. And again, timestamps will be put for the THX Spatial guys, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, adios.